Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum, a pioneer in the study of consciousness and the brain, takes us in the Syntérgic Theory on a journey through a fascinating universe where science and spirituality meet. Over 15 years of research, Grinberg developed a revolutionary theory that proposes that our perception of reality is mediated by a neural field that interacts with an underlying spatial structure called the lattice. This book is an invitation to discover how our thoughts and emotions can influence the very structure of reality. Next, we will explore 7 key points that reveal the most intriguing aspects of this theory. These points take us on a journey from the invisible structure of space to the practical implications of understanding how our mind shapes reality. Get ready to explore the limits of perception and consciousness. Point 1. The lattice, the fundamental structure of space. Imagine a vast invisible ocean that envelopes everything, a field connecting every corner of the universe. This is the lattice, according to Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum, the fundamental fabric of reality. Contrary to what it may seem, this concept is not science fiction, but a bold proposal to explain how we perceive and experience the world. The lattice is described as a multidimensional matrix with an impressive vibrational and energetic capacity. It is like a superconductor encompassing all space, without gaps or discontinuities. In any direction we look or move, we are always within the structure. The lattice is so fundamental that any change in one of its parts affects all others. Think of how a wave in water expands and touches everything around it. In the same way, the lattice connects and communicates every part of its being. This structure is not static. It can change its own shape. From Grinberg's perspective, everything in the universe, from the smallest particles to macroscopic objects like a mountain, is a distortion of the lattice. For example, a simple thought or emotion can alter the lattice, just as a rock or a star does. It's as if every action and object were waves in this vast ocean, creating and modifying the landscape of reality. Moreover, the lattice possesses an almost magical capacity to contain and transmit information. According to Grinberg, when we move, the continuity of our perceptions, like seeing objects pass by from a train window, reflects the coherence of the information in the lattice. It's as if each point of the lattice held a universe of data within it, waiting to be decoded by our brains. This concept also challenges our understanding of time. Grinberg suggests that time is a human creation, a distortion of the lattice. Without distortions, the lattice would exist in a state of perfect timelessness, similar to how a particle of light does not experience time because it moves at the maximum speed possible in the universe. Therefore, the experiences and objects we see and feel are, in a certain sense, temporary manifestations of a deeper, stable reality. The most astonishing implication of this theory is the possibility of manipulating the lattice for practical applications. Grinberg speculates on the possibility of developing technologies that could interact with the lattice to obtain infinite energy or even materialize objects. Imagine an unlimited energy source or the ability to create food and resources out of nothing, simply by manipulating this fundamental structure. In summary, the lattice is a revolutionary proposal that invites us to reconsider the nature of reality and our place in it. It shows us an interconnected world where every thought, emotion, and action has a profound impact on the fabric of the universe. It's an invitation to explore the limits of our perception and to imagine a future where we can interact with the very essence of the cosmos. If you enjoy our content, please help us keep going. With a like or a comment, you help us grow as a channel. Remember, every day, audiobooks for you. Point 2. Neural fields and their interaction with reality. In the universe of Syntérgic Theory, the human brain is revealed as an astonishing organ, not only for its cognitive abilities, but also because it acts as a bridge between the lattice and human experience. This bridge is the neural field, a dynamic and energetic network formed by complex neural interactions. Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum proposes a fascinating idea. What we perceive as reality is merely the result of the interaction between this field and the lattice. Imagine that every thought, emotion, and perception you have is sculpted by the neural field. This field, a sort of invisible yet powerful aura, is capable of interacting with the lattice, modifying it and being modified in turn. It's as if the brain has an internal antenna, capturing and retransmitting signals from a vast energetic field that encompasses the entire universe. This antenna not only receives information, it can also influence the lattice, creating what Grinberg calls interference patterns. These interference patterns are crucial. They are like unique fingerprints that reveal how each brain interacts with reality. For instance, two people can observe the same landscape, but the image each one forms in their mind is unique, as it depends on how their respective neural fields interact with the lattice. This concept leads to the radical conclusion that reality is not something fixed and independent of us. Instead, it is something we actively co-create with our minds. The neural field functions similarly to two waves in a pond. When two waves meet, they create a new wave pattern, an interference pattern different from the original waves. Similarly, when a person's neural field interacts with the lattice, a new experience of reality is generated. This experience can be visual, auditory, or even emotional, depending on the specific syntergic bands with which the neural field resonates. Syntergic bands are like channels of a cosmic radio. If the neural field is properly tuned, it can access certain bands that allow it to perceive different aspects of reality. An everyday example would be the difference between seeing an object and hearing a sound. Both experiences are possible because the brain decodes different types of information from the lattice, each corresponding to a distinct syntergic band. The most surprising implication of this theory is that we can train our brain to improve its capacity to interact with the lattice, increasing the syntergia of our neural field, that is, its coherence and information density, allows us to perceive more reality or even consciously alter our perception. Techniques such as meditation and other practices of consciousness development are designed precisely for this purpose, to elevate our neural syntergia to achieve higher states of perception and understanding. Ultimately, Grinberg leads us to question the very nature of reality. If everything we experience is a result of an interaction between our neural fields and the lattice, then reality is largely subjective and moldable. This opens up an almost infinite field of possibilities for exploring consciousness and personal development. We are not confined to a single version of reality. We can learn to see beyond, to experience more deeply, and to become more aware of our role in creating the world around us. Point 3. Perception as active creation by the brain. The reality we perceive is not simply an objective projection of the external world. Rather, it is an active construction by our brain. According to Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum, the human brain not only receives information from the environment, but also interprets and transforms it, thus creating our subjective experience of reality. This means that we are not mere passive observers of the world, but co-creators of our own reality. In this process of constructing perception, the brain acts as a sophisticated filter that selects and organizes information in a way that makes sense to us. This selection is not arbitrary. It is based on a series of factors, including our personal history, our emotions, and our level of consciousness. For example, when we look at a landscape, what we see is not an exact reproduction of the environment, but an interpretation constructed by our brain based on data gathered through our senses. This interpretation is influenced by our past experiences, expectations, and beliefs. Grinberg-Zylberbaum uses the term neuroalgorithmization to describe the process by which the brain decodes information from the lattice, transforming it into a coherent perceptual experience. This process is crucial for understanding how our perceptions can vary from one person to another. Two people can be in the same place and see completely different things because their brains are decoding information differently, based on their own unique neuroalgorithms. An everyday example of how our brain creates reality can be when we hear a story told by someone. Depending on our mood and previous experiences, we can interpret the story in very different ways. A detail may seem insignificant to one person, but crucial to another. This phenomenon shows how our perceptions are deeply influenced by our subjectivity and how the brain continuously works to make sense of the information it receives. The brain not only selects and organizes information, but also amplifies or attenuates it as needed. This ability is particularly evident in high-tension or dangerous situations, where our perception of time can change drastically. In such moments, the brain may slow down or speed up our perception of time, allowing us to process information more quickly or slowly than normal. This perceptual flexibility is a crucial survival tool, but also illustrates the plasticity of our experience of reality. Moreover, Grinberg-Zylberbaum proposes that the reality we experience is largely determined by our level of consciousness. A higher level of consciousness allows us to access a broader and deeper perception of reality, while a lower level of consciousness can limit our capacity for perception. This idea suggests that through practices like meditation or self-awareness, we can expand our perceptual capacity and experience a richer and more complex reality. In conclusion, perception is not simply a reception of data, but a creative and active process in which the brain plays a crucial role. By understanding that our reality is largely a construction of our minds, we realize that we have the power to change our perception of the world. This not only allows us to see things differently, but also opens the door to new possibilities of experience and understanding. Grinberg-Zylberbaum's theory invites us to explore this creative capacity of our brain and to question the boundaries of what we consider real. Point 4. Orbits of consciousness and their implications. The idea of orbits of consciousness takes us on a fascinating journey through the different levels of consciousness we can experience. According to Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum, consciousness is not a fixed state, but a series of levels we can reach depending on how we interact with the lattice and our own neural field. It is like a staircase that takes us from the most basic perception to a state of pure and unified consciousness. Each of these levels, or orbits of consciousness, is manifested through distinct sensory qualities and mental states. Imagine that each level is like a different television channel. Tuning into each one allows us to experience a different reality. For example, when we are on the basic level, our perception is primarily focused on direct and concrete sensory experience, like seeing colors or hearing sounds. It is a state in which we are deeply identified with our body and physical sensations. As we move up these levels, our perception begins to expand. We might start to experience deeper emotional states or even perceive the connection between our emotions and the world around us. This can lead us to states of consciousness where we begin to see ourselves not only as isolated individuals, but as part of a larger whole. It's as if, instead of seeing only a tree, we begin to see the entire forest, understanding the interrelation among all its parts. The pinnacle of this staircase of consciousness is what Grinberg calls unity consciousness. In this state, all separations between subject and object, between self and others, disappear. It is a state of fusion with the lattice itself, where individual consciousness dissolves into a universal consciousness. It's as if all the television screens turned off, revealing that behind each channel there was always the same energy source illuminating all the images. This journey through the orbits of consciousness is not merely theoretical. Grinberg suggests that it is possible to move between these levels through practices such as meditation or self-awareness. By developing greater coherence in our neural field and increasing our syntergia, we can access higher states of consciousness. This not only expands our perception, but can also lead to a deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe. Moreover, this ability to move between different levels of consciousness has practical implications. For example, in states of high syntergia, we may experience a deep sense of peace, mental clarity, and a stronger connection with others. This can improve our personal relationships, creativity, and problem-solving abilities. In essence, expanding our consciousness allows us to live a richer and more meaningful life. In conclusion, the orbits of consciousness are not just an abstract theory, but an invitation to explore the limits of our perception and to discover the vast potential of our mind. By understanding and experiencing these levels, we can transform our experience of reality, moving from a limited and fragmented view to a more holistic and unified perception. Thus, Grinberg invites us to embark on a journey of self-discovery toward a higher and fuller consciousness. Point 5. Unity consciousness and its access. Unity consciousness is a fascinating concept that suggests the possibility of transcending our ordinary perceptions and reaching a state of total connection with the universe. According to Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum, this state is not a mere theory or abstract idea. It is a lived experience in which the barriers between self and other, between subject and object, dissolve. It is as if everything we consider separate merges into a single, indivisible reality. In this state, the observer and the observed become one. Imagine looking at a landscape and feeling not only that you observe it, but somehow that you are part of it. This is not merely an emotional or intellectual connection, but a direct experience of being one with everything that exists. This state of unity is deeply transformative because it changes our way of seeing the world and ourselves. Suddenly, the divisions and conflicts that once seemed so real and tangible lose their meaning, leaving only an experience of pure existence. To reach unity consciousness, Grinberg-Zylberbaum suggests that we must transcend our habitual identifications with the body and mind. Normally, we identify with our thoughts, emotions, and bodily sensations, and this identification makes us feel separate from the rest of the world. However, when we realize that these identifications are merely mental constructs, we can begin to experience a deeper, unified reality. The process of reaching the state of unity can be facilitated by practices such as meditation, which helps us observe our thoughts and emotions without identifying with them. It's like becoming an impartial observer of our own experience, allowing thoughts and feelings to come and go without clinging to them. As we deepen in this practice, we start to see that what we thought we were, our thoughts and emotions, is just a small part of our true nature. In unity consciousness, the difference between the observer and the contents of experience disappears. This does not mean that we stop perceiving or experiencing things, but that perception and experience become a continuous, uninterrupted flow, with no separate self experiencing them. It's as if all the colors of the rainbow merge into pure white light, where it is no longer possible to distinguish one color from another because they are all part of the same light. This state of unity is not only a spiritual experience, but also has profound practical implications. By experiencing this unity, we become more aware of our interconnectedness with others and the world. This awareness can lead us to live more compassionately and altruistically, as we realize that helping others ultimately helps ourselves. It can also lead us to live more authentically and in alignment with our deepest values, as we free ourselves from false identifications and social expectations. In summary, unity consciousness is an experience of merging with the totality of existence. It is a state in which all dichotomies dissolve, and we experience reality in a direct and immediate way. This state is accessible to all of us and represents the pinnacle of human consciousness development. It invites us to explore who we truly are beyond the limitations of our mind and body, and to discover a deeper, universal truth underlying all that exists. Point 6. Practical applications of Syntérgic Theory. Syntérgic Theory is not merely an abstract theoretical framework. It has fascinating practical applications that could revolutionize our understanding and management of the world. Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum offers a vision of how deep knowledge of the lattice and Neuro fields can open new possibilities in fields like energy, communication, and health. One of the most impressive applications is the possibility of manipulating gravity. Grinberg suggests that by increasing the syntergia in a neural field, we could alter the curvature of space, thus affecting gravity. Imagine being able to levitate objects or even people, not through illusion tricks, but through precise knowledge and control of the fundamental laws of the universe. This ability to manipulate gravity could transform transportation, allowing vehicles to float without the need for conventional fuel. Additionally, it could lead to new forms of energy, similar to the magnetic levitation observed in superconductors, but applicable on much larger scales. Another area of application is direct brain-to-brain communication, without the need for words or conventional technology. Grinberg discovered what he called transferred potential, a phenomenon where two people who have established an empathetic connection can experience similar stimuli even when physically separated. This type of communication could allow deep and immediate understanding between people, revolutionizing the way we interact. It would be like having a telepathic connection, where emotions and thoughts are shared directly without the misunderstandings that often arise with spoken or written language. Moreover, Syntérgic theory opens the door to the creation of new computing technologies. The lattice, with its capacity to contain colossal amounts of information in each of its points, could be used as a model to develop data storage and processing systems far more efficient than any current technology. Imagine a computer that not only stores information, but can also interact with the human neural field to perform complex calculations, almost like an extension of the brain. This would not only speed up data processing, but also enable new forms of human-machine interaction, where technology truly becomes an extension of our mind. In the field of energy, the lattice could offer almost limitless solutions. Grinberg suggests that it's possible to extract energy directly from this fundamental structure of space, transforming it into usable forms like electricity or heat. This would solve one of the greatest challenges of our era, the energy crisis. A generator that operates from the energy of the lattice could provide a source of clean and unlimited energy, eliminating our dependency on fossil fuels and reducing environmental impact. Finally, in the field of health, understanding and manipulating the lattice and neural fields could lead to extraordinary advancements. For example, organ regeneration or the curing of previously incurable diseases could become a reality by using techniques to materialize tissues or biological structures directly from the lattice. This application would not only transform medicine, but also change the lives of millions of people, improving quality of life and increasing longevity. In summary, the practical applications of Syntérgic theory invite us to dream of a future where the limits of what is possible are continuously expanded. Grinberg shows us that by understanding and utilizing the fundamental properties of the lattice and neural fields, we can revolutionize multiple aspects of our daily lives, from energy and communication to health and well-being. This knowledge not only allows us to live more efficiently and harmoniously, but also invites us to explore and discover new dimensions of our existence. Point 7. The interconnection of all things. Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum's Syntérgic theory invites us to envision a universe where everything is interconnected on a fundamental level. This interconnection is not just an abstract concept, but a tangible, experienceable reality manifested in the functioning of the lattice and neural fields. Essentially, every point in the universe contains information about all other points, creating a network of interrelationships that supports all existence. Grinberg describes the lattice as a vibrational structure containing the universe's total information in each of its points. This phenomenon is similar to how a drop of water reflects all the light around it. Similarly, each point of the lattice reflects and contains the information of the entire cosmos. This holographic capability implies that any change in one point of the lattice affects the rest of the universe, a principle akin to the butterfly effect theory, where a small action can have far-reaching consequences. This concept of interconnection also extends to our neural fields. Individual neural fields, which are complex distortions of the lattice, interact with each other through interference patterns. These interactions create a hyperfield, a kind of planetary neural field that encompasses and connects all neural fields. This hyperfield includes not only humans, but also the neural fields of other living beings, creating a global network of consciousness. The implication of this interconnection is profound. What we do, think, and feel is not limited to our individual being, but impacts the rest of the world. For example, an act of kindness can resonate through the lattice, positively influencing others, while acts of negativity can generate dissonance in this network of consciousness. This perspective invites us to be more mindful of our actions and their impact on the world. Syntérgic theory also suggests that it is possible to tune our neural field to better align with the hyperfield and therefore with the universe's flow of information and energy. Through practices such as meditation and consciousness development, we can increase our syntergia, that is, the coherence and informational density of our neural field. This not only allows us to perceive a broader, deeper reality, but also connects us more intimately with others and with the universe as a whole. This focus on interconnection has practical applications. In health, for instance, understanding the interrelation between mind and body can lead to more integrative therapies that consider not only physical symptoms, but also the emotional and mental state of the patient. Similarly, in technology, the idea of a computer system based on the Lattice could revolutionize how we store and process information, enabling much more advanced storage and computation capacities than currently possible. In conclusion, the interconnection of all things is a central principle in Syntérgic theory, inviting us to see the world and ourselves as parts of a greater whole. This vision has the potential not only to transform our scientific and technological understanding, but also to change the way we live and relate to the world. By recognizing and exploring this interconnection, we can aspire to a more conscious, harmonious existence in tune with the universe. Final words. Jacobo Grinberg-Zylberbaum's Syntérgic theory takes us on a deep and revealing journey, where we discover that our reality is an active creation of our consciousness, constantly interacting with a universal structure that connects us all. Along this path, we learn that our perception of the world is shaped not only by our senses, but also by our emotions, thoughts, and levels of consciousness. As we explore the limits of our mind, a universe of possibilities opens up, where each experience is an opportunity to expand our understanding and connection with the whole. This knowledge empowers us, showing that we are not mere passive spectators in the theater of life, but actors with the ability to influence and co-create our reality. By understanding that we are all interconnected, we see that our actions, no matter how small, have an impact on the fabric of the universe. This understanding invites us to live with greater empathy and responsibility, knowing that every act of kindness, every positive thought, can resonate and create meaningful changes beyond ourselves. Syntérgic theory inspires us to seek a higher state of consciousness, where the boundaries between self and other dissolve, and we experience a deep union with the universe. This journey toward greater awareness is not only a spiritual path, but a call to discover the unlimited potential of our mind and heart. It challenges us to look beyond appearances and explore the essence of our existence. Ultimately, this theory reminds us that we are part of something much greater, a field of energy and consciousness where everything is connected. By embracing this truth, we can live more fully and authentically, in harmony with ourselves and the world around us. It is an invitation to awaken, to see the world with new eyes, and to actively participate in creating a more conscious and compassionate reality. On this journey of discovery, each step brings us closer to realizing our true potential and experiencing unity with all that exists